think he's a tough kid. He's a worthy opponent. Top prospect. He's undefeated, coming off submission of the year. But these are the guys I want to fight. I want to fight the best guys. I want to fight the top prospects. I want to fight. These are the guys that are going to get me the top 10 fights into an eventual world title. So, man, this is the fight I asked for. It's the fight I wanted. And, man, he's going to get it May 2nd. Hopefully it goes down. We're still yet to see, but I'm just hoping for the best, man, and hopefully this thing goes down and I can knock him out on ESPN. Well, he's been posting all this crazy shit. I mean, I just finished watching The Tiger King like a couple nights ago. It was a pretty cool documentary on Netflix for the people who haven't seen it, but really cool. But he's been posting all this shit, like I'm the Tiger King or this or that, like. So I was just like, man, I'm gonna fuck you up. We'll see what happens. So I'm gonna show him who the real Tiger King is. Who's the real king of the jungle, and that's what's gonna happen. The fight's in Oklahoma, so it's kind of interesting that's where the Tiger King story took place, is Oklahoma. I didn't know anything about Oklahoma besides like the name of it. Like I couldn't tell you one thing about Oklahoma, but now I can tell you something. That's where the Tiger King's from. So makes it definitely more of an interesting place for me to go to now. I'm preparing to fight. I mean, UFC sent me an email today asking me, just giving me my information, my flight information for the fight in Oklahoma, all the information. So, I mean, as far as I know and what I've been told, I'm fighting May 2nd, which is 1 month away. So you better be, I better be prepared for it. I'm not going to just think, oh, maybe it won't happen. And then if it happens, I'm in big trouble. Like one of the things I said is the only thing I'm more scared about than getting the virus is going into a UFC octagon not prepared. I mean, that's probably the scariest thing that you could ever encounter in your life, is going in there and maybe not have a training camp or not even training it, like just being out of shape or something. Like that to me is more scary than getting sick, honestly, like because I go in the octagon preparing to die every time I go in there. So, I definitely take the precautions. I'm safe. I use, Lysol spray down my equipment. I use the hand sanitizer. I do everything they say. But they're also, I need to get my work in, and so I just try to be as safe as possible when I do so. I mean, it definitely gives people something to look to. Like, there's no sports on TV. There's nothing positive going on, and I think if they can pull it off and have a safe environment where nobody is tested positive for the virus and things like that, I think it's just, I mean, it could be a very good thing. I think, from my understanding, they make it sound like everyone's going to be in contact with this virus at some point, whether it's now or whether it's in 6 months. So I don't know. I mean, it's interesting to see, the people, him test the waters and see what it's like. I mean, I don't think for any of the athletes, as far as my knowledge of the virus, that it would be life threatening, for any of them. But, I think, what we do is pretty life threatening too. So I think we'd be the least ones scared of this thing, but I think we still take the precautions, and they would take the precautions, and hopefully they could pull it off. I got tunnel vision anyways, man. I've been in street fights where no one's even in the back of an alley, and then I've been in front of 40,000 people in Mexico City fighting in, foreign territory. So I've been, and then I've been in my hometown of Boston fighting in front of 20,000, my fans. So multiple times. So don't matter where it is, either way, it's just, it's a fight to me. So I'd say my favorite, I have two favorites, but I'd say the best one I think was, when I first moved down to Florida, I only had a bicycle. So I didn't have a car or nothing. My first 2 years, I just had no money. I was just working in a restaurant. I was a chef, Cut 432, a steakhouse in Delray Beach, Florida. And I was just, a line cook, barely, just getting a good paycheck, paying my rent, but I didn't have a car yet. So my bicycle to me was my car. So you can imagine, I come out of work, my bike's gone. So dude, I was like, man, how am I going to get home? But I was mad as hell. And at this point, I've already been training for a year or two. So, I've been in, street fights before, but ever since I started training, I've only been in one street fight, and this was it. I've probably had 2 amateur fights at this point. I come out, bike's gone. I'm like, whatever. I was so pissed. One of the kids from work was like, "Oh, I'm gonna give you a ride home." I'm like, "No, I'm good." So I just started walking mad as hell, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna walk right through the ghetto in this little trailer park area, because that's probably where it's probably at least a chance. If it's anywhere, someone from this fucking neighborhood probably stole it. So I cut through the back to get to my house. It was probably a 3-mile walk, but a mile into the walk, cutting through this trailer park, really ghetto ass neighborhood. And sure enough, I see this kid. He looked like Lil Wayne, tall, dreadlocks, no shirt on. I don't even think he had shoes on. And sure enough, my bike comes right by me. I'm like, there's no fucking way that's my bicycle. I like froze. I didn't even like move. I'm like, you kidding me? So then I just ran up to the kid, and I didn't like attack him. I was like, yo, 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 yo. I'm like, that's my bike. He's like, fuck you, white boy. And I'm like, oh yeah. I'm like, well, listen, man. There's two ways it's gonna go. You're either gonna give me the bike back, or I'm gonna take it back, and you're gonna get arrested. So you got two choices, man. You can do it the easy way or the hard way. Like, and he's like, F you, white boy. He said it again. So I said, all right, looks like I'm gonna fight this kid because I ain't leaving without my bike. And like right as that happened, like all these kids came out of the woodworks. They started like all of his boys. I don't know if they were gang. Then the cops ended up telling me after they were gang members or whatever. So all these cops came, like all these not cops, all these like characters were coming out of the woodwork, kind of surrounded. Like I had that feeling like I was gonna get jumped. But there was also a couple cars in the street, and like all the lights were shining on us. And I'm like, man, you know what? Like, I'm about to get jumped right now. I got to do something drastic. So I was like, and I kind of knew that anybody in this situation would want to be, just using my street smarts. I was like, yo, I'll fight you. I said it real loud so everyone could hear. I said, I'll fight you for the bike right now, one-on-one, winner takes it home, like as loud as I could, just because I knew everyone would kind of respect that. Like, they're not just going to jump me. They'll be like, oh, yeah, fuck it, let's run it. Like, and he goes, all right, let's run it. And then all of a sudden, this came at me, man. We just fucking slugged it out. He was a tough kid. There's no doubt about it. He's tougher than some of my actual, like, schedule fights. But by the end of it, I started to fight a little dirty. I grabbed him by his dreadlocks and just ripped a couple uppercuts and ended up knocking him out. And he was on the ground, and everyone just like kind of just looking. And right as I knocked him out, the police pulled up. And like, luckily for me, when the cops came out with their guns, he popped up and like was, knocked out, confused, like stumbling, and they just trying to fight the cops. So he took all the attention off me and made him look like the bad guy. And they arrested him. I didn't get arrested. I got my bike back. And after, what the cops told me too is they were like, "What were you doing? Like, what happened?" And I was like trying to play like innocent white boy. I was like, I'm just, I was coming home from work, and they're like, well, you really did a number on him. Like, it looked like you really hurt him. Like, well, I'm like, well, I've been practicing self-defense classes. Like, I didn't say like I'm an MMA fighter. I was just telling them like, yeah, I just tried to defend myself, like what I learned in karate class. So I didn't like make it look like I'm a fighter, so I get in more trouble maybe. But then they told me that we're like filming a documentary of like gangland on there or something. So you could have got us killed. You could have got yourself killed. He's like, that was a really dangerous neighborhood. I'm like, well, whatever, man. I had to wake up and look myself in the mirror. I wasn't gonna do it without my bike. So if that was it for me, that would have been the way I went out. They were like, we're gonna kill you. Like, you ever come through this neighborhood? They were screaming. I was like, officer, you hear these guys yelling at me, like threatening my life? He goes, you just shut up, and you just luckily will get out of here alive. And I was like, all right. I'm like, how do you argue that? I'm like, so I just probably didn't go to that neighborhood anymore because I didn't know, but never heard from the guy again, much of it. So I was, got my bike back, and that was the story. If anyone wants to follow me, check out, latest fight updates, whatever's going on. You guys can find me at Charles Rosa MMA. That's my Twitter, Instagram. You guys find me on there, whatever. And, definitely check out Chucky's Fight. It's a charity that my dad started to help knock out substance abuse. They take donations, and they use the money to help educate teens on substance abuse and help get people into treatment centers that don't have the money to do so. So it's all for a good cause. And then you can, if you just want some entertainment, you can watch him jump in the ocean. He jumps in the freezing cold ocean in the snow every day up in New England, Boston, New Hampshire. So he's in the freezing cold water and blizzards and snowstorms. So even if you don't want to donate, just get some free entertainment. All right.